Welcome back to the Economic Compass. I'm your host, Alex Chen, and today we're diving into a topic that is often discussed in hushed tones, yet affects the daily lives of millions around the globe: the parallel dollar market, or what's commonly known as the foreign currency black market. To help us navigate this shadow economy, we have financial expert and consultant, Dr. Jessica Hayes. Jessica, thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Alex. This is a vital conversation because, as you mentioned, it's not just an abstract concept for economists, it's the lived reality of many consumers and businesses.
Absolutely. Let's start with the big picture. When we talk about the black market for currency, or terms like dollar blue, what exactly are we defining, and why does this phenomenon exist in the first place?
Great starting point.
In the simplest terms, the parallel market is where foreign currency, dollars, euros, is exchanged outside of regulated banking channels. Its key feature is that the exchange rate is completely unregulated, set purely by informal supply and demand. And crucially, that rate is almost always dramatically higher than the official government-mandated rate. So if the official rate is on the TV, the parallel rate is what you actually pay on the street. Exactly. Think of the official market as the brightly lit front stage of an economy, controlled by the central bank. The black market is the back door, the escape route for capital and savings. Its very existence is a massive red flag. It's a barometer of the public's deep distrust in the local currency and the government's economic policies. That's a powerful analogy. If the local currency is losing purchasing power every day, people naturally flee to the most stable asset they can find, which is usually the US dollar. Precisely. And the root cause is almost always the imposition of currency controls. The government puts up a dam, strict regulations to limit who can buy foreign currency and how much. The stated goal is to protect international reserves, but dams create pressure. They do. The need for dollars doesn't vanish. People still need to import, pay foreign debt, and save for retirement. So when the legal supply is artificially restricted, that demand simply flows into the illegal parallel channels. You've artificially created scarcity.
Right.
And you also pointed out three major factors that fuel this. Can you walk us through those? Of course. First is chronic inflation. If your local money is constantly being eroded, the dollar isn't just a saving vehicle, it's a survival tool. Citizens rush to dollarize any surplus they have. Second is unsustainable fiscal and monetary policy. When governments consistently spend more than they earn and finance that deficit by printing unsupported money, economic agents anticipate devaluation. That panic buying accelerates the parallel price. So if I see the central bank printing lots of new money, my instant reaction is to buy the black market dollar because I know the official one is going to drop eventually. That's the psychological feedback loop. And the third factor is the mechanism of arbitrage, which is often connected by businesses. An exporter might under-invoice their goods, leaving some of their foreign currency abroad to sell later at the parallel rate for a better profit. Or an importer might over-invoice to obtain more subsidized official dollars than they need, then sell the surplus on the street. It's an immediate, guaranteed profit built on distortion. That's fascinating how the distortions create these profit opportunities. Now, let's look inside. Who are the people operating this market? We mentioned arbolitos and cuivas in the notes. It's a dynamic ecosystem. The suppliers are tourists, sometimes even large corporations selling their excess foreign currency. The demanders are the average citizens, small businesses, and importers. The intermediaries are the arbolitos, the street brokers, and the cuivas, which are the discrete operational centers, essentially unregistered exchange houses. They operate with an efficiency that the official market often lacks because of its rigidity. And is the price purely economic, or is there an emotional component to this? Oh, it's highly emotional. The parallel dollar is a reflection of collective anxiety. Its value fluctuates wildly, not just on supply and demand, but on rumors. A cabinet crisis, a new tax announcement, or a central bank official resigning can cause the price to spike within hours. The price includes a premium for risk and a premium for panic. That explains the extreme volatility we often see in these markets. But operating outside the law carries huge risks, right? Absolutely. The black market premium is not just for scarcity, it's the cost of risk. You face a high risk of fraud, counterfeit bills, or outright theft because there is zero legal recourse. You face extreme, unpredictable volatility. And most importantly, you face legal risk, as operating outside authorized channels is often a crime punishable by fines or even jail time. Stepping back, how does this private anxiety translate into overall economic deterioration? It's a corrosive mechanism that generates what we call imported inflation. The government insists the official dollar is the rate, but no merchant can ignore the parallel dollar. Importers and wholesalers calculate their replacement costs based on the higher parallel rate because they assume future inputs will cost that much. That cost is immediately passed on to the consumer. So the parallel dollar rate, in effect, sets the true price level for goods in the entire economy. Exactly. It infects the entire price structure, and it creates a severe distortion. It punishes exporters who must sell their legitimate earnings at the low official rate, disincentivizing production. Simultaneously, it subsidizes importers who get a cheap dollar, potentially destroying local industry that can't compete with artificially low-cost foreign goods. It's a vicious cycle of disinvestment. So, for listeners in these economies, what are the most crucial, actionable tips you can give them to protect their personal wealth from this constant devaluation pressure? The most valuable asset you have is financial education and discipline. First, diversify your savings. If legal access to hard currency is restricted, explore alternatives like the MEP dollar or the CCL, the counted with liquidation, if they are legal options in your country. These mechanisms use bonds to offer a free, transparent exchange rate. Smart. It leverages the legal financial system to get the true market price right. Second, prioritize real assets. These maintain their intrinsic value regardless of the dollar price. Think real estate, even orable goods like a car or high-value appliances. It's a way to front-load consumption and protect your purchasing power against future price hikes. And finally, what's the mental discipline required? Absolutely. Avoid panic. The black market thrives on fear. Have a clear, long-term savings plan and define your exposure to the local currency. Don't be swayed by social media rumors. A well-informed citizen who acts calmly and legally is the most empowered investor in an unstable economy. That is such important guidance, Jessica. To summarize, the parallel dollar is a symptom, not a cause, fueled by currency controls and public distrust. It injects inflation into the entire economy. And our best defense is diversification into hard currency or real assets, always prioritizing security and legality. Perfect summary, Alex. It truly underscores that in these turbulent waters, your financial discipline and education are the ultimate safeguards. And thank you for tuning in to The Economic Compass. We'll catch you next time.